Welcome to Talmudic Treasures. Today we're learning Ketubot page 103, which discusses the final words that are said by the great Rabbi Yehuda Hanassi. Rabbi, the leader, before he died, he wanted to make sure that everything would be in absolute perfect order for the upcoming generation. So he called the wise people and he gave them advice. He told his children, one of you is wise, one of you will be the Nasi, you'll take over my position, Rabbi Gamliel. And he also chose the person who should be the Rosh Yeshiva. He said that Rabbi Hanina should be the next Rosh Yeshiva, the head of the entire school, the most brilliant mind that is going to be turned to for the greatest amount of knowledge and guidance, one of the most honorable positions imaginable. On this, the Talmud asks, I understand that Rabbi Hanina was great, but there was another person who perhaps should have been offered the position first. Why didn't Rabbi offer the position to Rav Chia? Rav Chia apparently was extremely qualified, and he should have been the one that was chosen to be the head of this school, the head of the yeshiva, this very, very prominent position. So why didn't Rabbi give him this position? And this is an unbelievable answer. The Talmud says that Rabbi did not want Rav Chia to take upon this leadership role of heading a school, heading this huge yeshiva. Instead, he said, I want him to continue to do what he's doing. He is currently involved in mitzvos, and I do not want to interrupt him for the task that he is doing. So what exactly did he do? So on this, the Talmud tells us that he would make sure that Torah was not forgotten in the next generation. He didn't just study Torah himself, but he actually went out of his way to teach Torah in the most profound manner. Instead of just buying parchment, he actually grew the flax himself and grew in order to be able to create the proper amount of material so that he would be able to make nets with those flax. And he was able to then catch a kosher animal in which he gave the meat to orphans, and the hide he himself took, and he wrote the Torah on those hides. And he found 5 children. And to each of those children, he taught them one of the books of the Torah. The Torah, as we know, is divided into 5. And he taught one child Genesis, the book of Bereshis, the second child Shemos, the book of Exodus, and so on and so forth. And then he said, I want you 5 children who have now mastered this one book, I want you to teach your book to your friends. And then those 5 kids will be able to teach to more children, and so on and so forth. And he did the same thing when it came to the oral tradition, which is broken up into Shisha Sidrei Mishnah to 6 parts. He taught each child, taught one of 6 children one of these sections, and he then said, I want you to go around and then teach these sections to other kids. And that is why Rabbi said, I do not want him to be in one of the most prominent positions in all of the Jewish world, because he has an even more important task. And that task is the teaching of Torah, being an educator to our children. And first of all, we see from here the idea that in order to make sure that Torah is not forgotten, it's not enough for me to learn it and to keep it to myself. I need to share it with other people. And that's what Rav Chia teaches us. What you need to do is, if you have knowledge, if you have something of value, instead of keeping it for yourself, you should share it with someone else. But in general, it teaches us an unbelievable message of the power of a teacher, how valuable teachers were considered and should still be considered, that this is a profession that was so important. And therefore, because of that, Rav Chia had to stay as a teacher.